Have you ever wondered what really makes a man fall deeply in love? Not just attraction, not just desire, but the kind of love that makes him see a future with you. Most people think it's all about looks, timing, or just finding the right one. But the truth is, love doesn't work the way you've been told. Men don't fall in love the way women do. Their emotions don't ignite with words alone. It's deeper than that, more psychological, more instinctual. By the end of this video, you won't just understand how men fall in love, you'll have the power to create a connection so strong that it stays with him forever. Stay with me until the end, and I'll give you the one psychological secret that makes a man choose a woman for life. Now, let's break a common myth. Love at first sight? That's not how it works. Attraction at first sight? Maybe. But love? That takes time. You see, men don't fall in love the way movies tell you. It's not just about grand gestures or poetic words. A man's heart isn't won in a moment, it's built over time through emotions he doesn't even realize are forming. Men process emotions differently. They don't sit and analyze their feelings the way women do. They don't talk about their emotions as much, but that doesn't mean they don't feel deeply. In fact, when a man truly falls in love, it runs deep, so deep that it changes the way he thinks, acts, and even sees the world. But here's the key. He doesn't fall in love because of what you say to him. He falls in love because of how he feels when he's around you. And here's where most people get it wrong. They believe men fall for beauty, for perfection, for the one who gives the most. But that's not the truth. A man can be drawn to beauty, but he falls in love with something else entirely, how a woman makes him feel about himself. That's the secret most people miss. When he's with you, does he feel stronger? Does he feel like he's becoming a better man? Does he feel seen, respected, and valued in a way that no one else makes him feel? Because that's when love starts to grow. Not when you try to impress him, not when you chase him, but when you create an experience so powerful that he can't ignore it. Here's another truth. A man doesn't fall in love in a straight line. He falls in love in stages. First, there's attraction, pure chemistry, the spark that makes him notice you. But that spark means nothing if it doesn't grow into admiration. Admiration happens when he respects who you are, not just how you look. And from admiration comes attachment, the emotional bond that makes him feel safe with you. But here's the most important part. None of this happens overnight. Love isn't built in a moment of passion. It's built in the moments in between, the way you make him think, the way he misses you when you're not there, the way he realizes that life without you doesn't feel as full. That's what makes a man truly fall. So if you've ever wondered why a man pulls away, why he seems interested but not fully committed, or why some women seem to make men fall hard while others struggle, it all comes down to this. Men don't fall in love with a woman, they fall in love with how they feel around her. And in this video, you're going to learn exactly how to create that feeling. Keep watching, because in the next section, we're breaking down the emotional blueprint of a man, how his mind works when it comes to love, and what truly makes him invest in a relationship. And remember, at the end of this video, I'll give you the one psychological secret that makes a man choose a woman for life. Stay with me. This could change everything. Most people think men are simple when it comes to love. They assume if a man is attracted to a woman, he will fall in love with her. But that's not how it works. A man's heart doesn't open because of beauty alone. It doesn't open because of words alone. It opens because of how he processes emotions, whether he realizes it or not. Men don't sit and analyze their feelings. They don't wake up one morning and decide, I'm in love. Love for a man happens in phases. At first, it's curiosity, the spark that makes him notice you. Then, it's admiration. He starts paying attention to who you are beyond just appearance. But love? Love happens when admiration turns into emotional attachment, when he starts to feel something deeper than just attraction. Unlike women, who often fall in love through communication and emotional connection, men experience love through action and feeling. They don't always verbalize their emotions, but they show them in ways that are easy to overlook. When a man is truly falling for a woman, his behavior shifts. He starts making time. He starts protecting. He starts thinking about the future in ways he never did before. But here's the catch. He won't even realize this is happening until it's too late to turn back. That's the nature of a man's heart. Love sneaks up on him. He may not even fully understand why he's drawn to a certain woman. All he knows is that when she's around, he feels different. He feels stronger, more motivated, more focused. That's what creates emotional attachment. And this is where most women make mistakes. They try to convince a man to love them with words. They think if they express their feelings, if they explain their worth, if they prove their loyalty, a man will suddenly wake up and fall in love. But love doesn't work that way. A man doesn't fall for words, she falls for an experience. When a woman gives him the space to pursue, when she respects herself enough not to chase, when she carries herself with confidence and certainty, something shifts in his mind. She stands out. She becomes unforgettable because she's not trying to win him over, she's letting him come to his own realization. And that's the only way love lasts. A man's emotional blueprint is built on one core truth. He needs to feel like he's choosing love, not being pressured into it. The moment he feels forced, the moment he feels like he's losing his freedom, he pulls away. That's why some men disappear when things get too intense too soon. It's not because they don't care, it's because love for them is a process. If that process is rushed, it breaks. So how does a man know when he's truly in love? It's when his emotions become undeniable, when his thoughts start to revolve around one person, when he finds himself wanting to protect, to provide, to prioritize. That's real love. And it's not something you demand, it's something you inspire. A man can feel attraction without love. He can feel desire without commitment. But without respect, love will never grow. Respect is the foundation of a man's heart. It determines whether his feelings will deepen or fade away. Most people believe love is built on affection, attention, and shared experiences. While those things matter, they are not enough. A man doesn't fall in love with a woman he doesn't respect. He may enjoy her company. He may feel a connection. But if there's no respect, there's no future. Respect for a man isn't just about admiration. It's about how he sees a woman in relation to himself. Does she carry herself with dignity? Does she hold her own standards? Does she value herself enough to walk away when she's not being treated right? Because here's the truth: if a man senses that a woman doesn't fully respect herself, he will never give her his deepest love. A woman who respects herself sets the tone for how she is treated. She doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't tolerate half-hearted effort. She doesn't need to prove her worth because she already knows it. And when a man sees this, something shifts in his mind. He realizes that her love is not something he can take for granted. He has to earn it. That's the secret. Men don't cherish what comes too easily. They don't value what they don't have to work for. It's not about playing games, it's about human psychology. When a man knows that a woman will tolerate disrespect, he may stay for convenience, but he will never stay for love. But when he respects a woman, everything changes. He listens differently. He treats her differently. He sees her as someone he doesn't want to lose. And that's when love starts to take root. Because now it's not just about attraction, it's about admiration. Respect creates space for a man to feel something deeper than desire. It makes him see a woman in a different light. He starts to think about the future. He starts to wonder what life would be like with her long term. He starts to invest not just in moments, but in building something real. But the moment respect is lost, everything crumbles. A man might still feel attached, but he won't feel the need to protect, provide, or commit. That's why some men stay in relationships that don't fulfill them, because they are comfortable, not because they are truly in love. Love requires respect, and respect is never demanded, it's inspired. The most powerful thing a woman can do is stand firm in her standards, not out of ego, not out of pride, but out of self-respect, because the right man won't be intimidated by a woman with high standards. He will rise to meet them, and that's the kind of man worth waiting for. A man may be drawn to beauty, he may be fascinated by charm, but what makes him stay, what makes him fall in love is emotional security. Without it, attraction fades. Without it, love never reaches its full depth. Most people think men only want excitement, adventure, and passion. While those things are important, they are not what keep a man committed. At his core, a man stays where he feels safe, not just physically, but emotionally. He may not say it out loud, but deep down, he longs for a connection that gives him peace. Emotional security doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean avoiding all conflict. It means creating an environment where he feels free to be himself, where he doesn't have to perform, where he doesn't have to pretend, where he doesn't have to constantly prove his worth. A man falls in love with the person who makes him feel understood. He may have the whole world on his shoulders, but when he's with her, he feels a sense of calm. He doesn't feel judged. He doesn't feel like he's being tested. He feels accepted. And that feeling is rare. That's why men pull away from relationships that feel like a battlefield. If he constantly feels criticized, if he feels like he can never do enough, if he feels like he's always walking on eggshells, he will start to emotionally shut down. A man doesn't fall in love where he feels pressured. He falls in love where he feels at home. But emotional security isn't about sacrificing self-respect. It's not about avoiding difficult conversations or ignoring problems. It's about how those conversations happen. A woman who can communicate her needs without attacking, who can express her feelings without blaming, who can stand her ground without making him feel like an enemy, that is the kind of woman a man can't walk away from. Men don't fear commitment. They fear feeling trapped. They fear being in a relationship where they can't be themselves, where they constantly feel like they're failing. But when a man finds a woman who brings him both passion and peace, both challenge and comfort, he realizes something: she's not just someone he wants. She's someone he needs. And that's when love takes root. Because now, he's not just choosing her for the moment, he's choosing her for life. There comes a moment in every man's heart when everything shifts. A moment when attraction turns into something deeper. A moment when he looks at a woman and realizes she's different. She's not just someone he enjoys spending time with. She's someone he doesn't want to lose. That moment isn't triggered by beauty alone. It's not because of a single conversation or a single action. It happens when a man feels something he can't explain, when he realizes that being around her changes him. He's more focused. He's more disciplined. He's more at peace. She doesn't just make him happy, she makes him better. A man decides a woman is the one when he sees a future with her that excites him, not one that drains him. And here's the truth: he won't reach that decision if he feels pressured. If he feels like love is being forced on him, if he feels like he's being pushed into something he's not ready for, he'll resist. Not because he doesn't care, but because real love for a man must be a choice, not an obligation. This is where patience comes in. A strong woman doesn't rush a man's emotions. She doesn't beg for love. She doesn't demand commitment before he's ready to give it. Instead, she inspires him to come to his own realization. She moves with confidence, knowing that if he is the right man, he will step up. And if he's not, she won't waste her time trying to convince him. A man falls in love when he feels like he's winning by being with her. When he feels that choosing her is the best decision he could ever make. That's why self-respect is so powerful. That's why emotional security matters. Because the woman who truly captures his heart isn't the one who chases, she's the one who holds her value, knowing that the right man will recognize it. And when that moment happens, when he finally sees what's in front of him, everything changes. He stops hesitating. He stops searching. He stops wondering if there's something better out there. Because now, he knows she's found what he's been looking for. And when a man reaches that level of certainty, nothing can pull him away. A man can meet 100 women, feel attraction, enjoy conversations, and even build connections. But when it comes to true commitment, when it comes to deciding that one woman is worth everything, only a rare few will ever reach that level in his heart. It's not about luck. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about how she makes him feel about himself when he's with her. A man commits to a woman when he sees her as an asset to his life, not a liability. When she brings him peace, not stress. When she adds value, not chaos. Most women are taught to win a man over by giving more love, more effort, more sacrifices. They think if they prove their worth, he'll choose them. But a man doesn't commit because of how much a woman gives. She commits because of how much he values what she gives. A woman who knows her worth doesn't overextend herself to earn love. She doesn't lose herself in a relationship. She understands that commitment is not about convincing, it's about alignment. She's not trying to force something that isn't meant to be. Instead, she carries herself with a quiet confidence that tells a man, I am an addition to your life, not a replacement for what you lack. And that's what makes a man commit. He sees a future with her, that doesn't feel like a burden. He sees a life with her that feels stronger, not weaker. She isn't trying to be his whole world, she's building a world alongside him. A man will not commit to a woman who makes him feel trapped. He will not commit to a woman who is constantly proving herself but never standing in her own power. He commits when he realizes that losing her would cost him something, real something he won't find anywhere else. Commitment isn't about convincing a man to stay. It's about becoming the kind of woman he never wants to leave. Because when a man finds that, he won't hesitate. He won't question. He won't look for another option. He'll know this is the woman he wants for life. A man can be mesmerized by a woman. He can be fascinated, drawn in, and even obsessed. But infatuation is not the same as love. Infatuation fades. Love grows. Infatuation is built on excitement. Love is built on depth. At the beginning, everything feels intense. He thinks about her constantly. He's eager. He's available. He's all in. But here's the truth. Early attraction is easy. It doesn't take effort to desire something new. The real test isn't how strongly he feels at the start, but how deeply he stays connected over time. A man who is only infatuated will love the high but resist the work. He will crave the chase but avoid the depth. He will admire the image of a woman but struggle to embrace the reality of her. Because infatuation isn't about the persona, it's about the feeling. That's why so many relationships start strong and end fast. 1 minute, everything is perfect. The next, it's falling apart. Not because the attraction was fake, but because it was never built on something solid. Lasting love is different. It's not about constant excitement, it's about deep connection. It's when a man sees a woman at her worst and still chooses her. It's when the initial rush settles, and instead of pulling away, he leans in even more. Because now, it's not just about how she makes him feel, it's about who she is. A man who is truly in love doesn't just appreciate a woman's beauty, he values her mind, her heart, her presence. He doesn't just enjoy the good moments, she stays through the hard ones. He doesn't just love her when it's easy, chooses her even when it's not. The difference between infatuation and love is in the staying power. Infatuation wants perfection. Love embraces reality. Infatuation runs at the first sign of discomfort. Love pushes through. Infatuation is a spark. Love is a flame that keeps burning. And that's what separates a man who is just passing through from a man who is ready for something real. Because the one who is meant to stay won't just fall in love with the best parts of a woman, he'll love her completely. And that kind of love, that's the only love worth having. Love isn't just words. It isn't just promises. It's action. A man who is truly in love doesn't just say he cares, she proves it. His actions match his words. His effort is consistent. His presence is steady. When a man is in love, he protects what he values. He doesn't take the relationship for granted. He doesn't treat her like an option. He prioritizes her not just when it's convenient, but even when life is busy. He makes time, not excuses. He listens not just to respond, but to understand. He pays attention to the little things. The way she likes her coffee, the way she smiles when she talks about her dreams, the way she holds back tears when she's hurting. He notices because she matters to him. A man in love doesn't avoid hard conversations, she faces them. He knows that real love isn't about avoiding problems, but working through them together. He doesn't shut down when things get tough. He doesn't walk away when there's conflict. He stays, he communicates, he grows. He supports her not just in words, but in action. He encourages her to chase her dreams. He believes in her even when she doubts herself. He celebrates her wins, and when she falls, he doesn't judge, he lifts her up. And most importantly, a man in love is consistent. He doesn't love with conditions. He doesn't disappear when emotions fade. He doesn't make her question where she stands. She knows she's loved, not because he says it, but because she feels it in the way he treats her every single day. Love isn't about grand gestures or perfect moments. It's about showing up over and over again. It's about proving through actions that this love is real. Because a man who truly loves won't make a woman wonder. He will make her certain. Falling in love is one thing. Staying in love is another. A man doesn't stay just because of how a woman looks or because of the good times they've shared. He stays because of how he feels when he's with her, safe, valued, and inspired to be his best self. A man stays when he respects the woman he's with. Respect is the foundation of lasting love. If he doesn't respect her, her mind, her choices, her boundaries, then no amount of attraction will keep him around. He stays when he sees her as his equal, not someone to control or someone to impress, but someone to build a life with. He stays when he feels understood. Every man has moments of weakness, moments of doubt, moments where the world weighs heavy on his shoulders. The woman who makes him stay isn't the one who tries to fix him, but the one who reminds him of his strength. The one who doesn't judge his struggles, but stands beside him through them. A man stays in love when the relationship brings him peace, not stress. If a man feels like he's always defending himself, always being criticized, always being questioned, he'll distance himself. Not because he doesn't care, but because no man wants to stay where he feels like he's constantly failing. But when a woman brings peace into his life, when she trusts him, supports him, and believes in him, that's when he stays. He stays when he still feels challenged. Love isn't about comfort, it's about growth. A man doesn't want a relationship that makes him stagnant. He wants a woman who inspires him to be better, who pushes him to aim higher, who won't let him settle for less than his potential. Most importantly, a man stays when he feels a deep emotional connection. Physical attraction fades, excitement comes and goes, but the bond, the trust, the friendship, the respect, that's what keeps love alive. That's what makes a man choose to stay every single day. Love isn't about convincing someone not to leave. It's about being the kind of person they never want to walk away from. Because when a man truly loves, and when that love is built on something real, leaving is never an option. A man doesn't take a woman for granted when he knows deep down that she is not afraid to walk away. Not as a threat, not as a game, but as a reflection of her self-respect. A woman who knows her worth does not beg for attention. She does not tolerate half-love. She does not wait around for a man to realize her value. She knows she is valuable with or without him. And that is what makes him respect her. The moment a man feels like a woman will tolerate anything, he stops appreciating everything. He starts assuming she'll always be there no matter how he treats her. And when appreciation fades, so does effort. A man values what he believes he could lose. That's human nature. People take for granted what seems guaranteed. But when a man knows that a woman will not settle for less than she deserves, he steps up or he steps aside. And either way, she wins. She wins because she doesn't chase validation. She doesn't need to be chosen to feel worthy. She doesn't cling to a relationship that drains her just because she's afraid of being alone. She walks away from what no longer serves her, knowing that true love will never require her to beg for it. And here's the truth. A man respects a woman who respects herself. He values a woman who has standards. He admires a woman who expects effort, honesty, and consistency. Not because she demands it, but because she embodies it. She holds herself to the same standard she expects from others. The woman who is truly cherished is not the one who gives endlessly while receiving nothing. She is the one who gives deeply, but only where love is reciprocated. She is kind, but she is not a doormat. She is loving, but she is not desperate. She is committed, but she is not blind. And that is what keeps a man invested. That is what keeps him showing up, putting in effort, and treating her like the queen she is. Because he knows if he doesn't, someone else will. A man doesn't fall deeply in love because of how a woman looks. He falls because of how she makes him feel about himself, about life, about the future. She becomes unforgettable, not because she tries to impress him, but because she awakens something in him. A man loves deeply when he feels safe with a woman. Not just safe to be strong, but safe to be weak, safe to be vulnerable, safe to admit his fears without judgment. The world expects him to be unshakable. But when he's with her, he can let down his guard. And that feeling, that's rare, that's irreplaceable. She inspires him by believing in him sometimes even before he believes in himself. She sees the man he's becoming, not just the man he is today. She doesn't try to fix him. She doesn't pressure him to change. She simply reminds him of his own greatness, and that makes him rise. She challenges him in the best way. She doesn't just agree with everything he says. She has her own mind, her own opinions, her own passions. She adds to his life, expands his thinking, and pushes him to be better. Not by force, but by being a woman of substance, a woman with a vision, a purpose, a life beyond him. And most importantly, she values herself. She knows her worth. She doesn't settle for less than she deserves. And that makes him step up. That makes him see her as a woman he never wants to lose. Because a man doesn't love deeply out of obligation. He loves deeply when a woman makes him feel alive. When she brings out the best in him. When he knows that with her, he's becoming the man he was meant to be. A man may be drawn to a woman's beauty, but he stays for something deeper, the emotional connection. That is what anchors his love. That is what makes him choose her again and again, even when time passes, even when life gets difficult. An emotional connection isn't built through constant talking. It's built through being understood. A man needs to feel that his thoughts, his dreams, and his struggles are safe with her. He needs to know that when he speaks, she listens not just with her ears, but with her heart. A man doesn't open up easily. The world has taught him to guard his emotions, to be strong, to show no weakness. But when he meets a woman who makes him feel safe, he lets his walls down. He shares his fears, his failures, his deepest hopes, not because he has to, but because he trusts her. That trust, that's the foundation of love that lasts. She makes him feel heard, not dismissed. She makes him feel valued, not judged. She doesn't shame him for his past. She doesn't use his vulnerabilities against him. Instead, she reminds him that he is more than his mistakes. She sees his potential, not just his flaws. And that right there makes him love her in a way he's never loved before. A man falls deeply when he feels a bond that goes beyond attraction, when the conversations feel effortless, when the silence feels comforting, not awkward. When he doesn't have to pretend to be anything other than himself, that's when love becomes unshakable. Because in the end, a man doesn't just love with his eyes. He loves with his heart, with his soul, with the feeling that he has found something rare, something he never wants to lose. A man may date many women in his lifetime, but he only truly falls for the one who changes the way he sees love. The one who makes him realize that settling is not an option. The one who makes him want to be a better man, not because she asked, but because he feels inspired to be. He knows he's found the one when he stops looking for something better. Not because he's afraid of being alone, not because it's convenient, but because he realizes that nothing else could compare to what he has with her. She is not just another chapter in his life, she is the story he wants to keep writing. She doesn't just bring him excitement, she brings him peace. He doesn't feel like he has to impress her, to prove himself, to wear a mask. With her, he is free. Free to be himself, free to dream, free to express emotions he never thought he could. And that freedom, that's what makes him stay. A man knows he's in love when he stops being selfish. When her happiness matters as much as his own. When he thinks about her before making decisions. When he protects her heart, not because he has to, but because he wants to. He feels something he's never felt before, a sense of home, a feeling of belonging, a deep certainty that he has met someone who will stand by him, grow with him, and build a life with him. That kind of love is rare. That kind of love is worth everything. And when a man finds it, he holds on to it, because he knows losing a woman like that is a loss he may never recover from. A man's love is not always spoken. It's not always wrapped in poetic words or grand declarations. But if you pay attention, you'll see it in his actions. You'll feel it in the way he protects, provides, and prioritizes. Because when a man truly loves, he doesn't just say, "I," shows it. He listens when you speak, not just to respond, but to understand. He remembers the little things, the way you like your coffee, the songs that make you smile, the dreams you quietly hold in your heart. Not because he has to, but because he wants to, because you matter to him. He makes sacrifices without keeping score. He gives his time, his effort, his energy, without expecting anything in return, because your happiness brings him happiness. Your struggles become his struggles. Your victories feel like his own. A man's love is seen in his consistency. He doesn't disappear when things get tough. He doesn't run at the first sign of difficulty. He stays. He works through problems. He chooses you not just on the good days, but on the hard ones too. He protects not just physically, but emotionally. He shields you from unnecessary pain. He stands up for you. He makes sure you feel safe, respected, and valued. Not because he's trying to control you, but because he wants you to feel secure in his love. A man in love doesn't just make promises, follows through. He doesn't just tell you what you want to hear, he proves it with his actions. Because for him, love is not a feeling that comes and goes. Love is a choice. Love is a commitment. Love is something he builds with you every single day. Real love is not about perfection. It's not about finding someone who never makes mistakes or someone who fits every expectation. It's about finding someone whose imperfections you can embrace, someone whose presence brings peace to your soul, and someone who chooses you not just today, but every day. A man's love is tested over time. In the beginning, everything feels easy. The excitement, the passion, the thrill of something new. But what happens when the routine sets in? What happens when life throws challenges in the way? That's when real love is revealed. A man who truly loves doesn't leave when things get hard. He doesn't walk away at the first sign of struggle. He fights not against you, but for you. He stands beside you when you feel weak. He lifts you up when you start to doubt yourself. Because for him, love is not a temporary feeling. It's a commitment, a promise, a foundation he is willing to build upon. And what makes a love last? It's not just chemistry. It's not just attraction. It's respect. It's trust. It's the ability to communicate, to work through problems, to stand together through the storms. A man will never let go of a woman he respects, a woman he admires, a woman who brings value to his life, and not just in what she gives, but in who she is. A love that lasts is built on patience. It's built on understanding. It's built on choosing each other over and over again, even when it's not easy. Because in the end, real love is not about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you're willing to build together for a lifetime. If this message resonated with you, make sure to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on powerful insights that can transform your life. Keep believing in real love. Keep striving for what you deserve. And never settle for less than a love that stands the test of time.